For some families, it's a desperately needed lifeline. Detroit Public Schools set to give students a new option to learn in the midst of the pandemic. By the end of this month, the district is reopening learning centers for students.
They're classrooms where kids can learn remotely with supervision. Our Paula Tutman shows us how it's all going to work and why school leaders say it's safe.
This morning, the superintendent of the Detroit Public Schools Community District is making a plea to parents.
If you're skeptical about the safety of returning to in-person learning, this isn't a theoretical exercise for DPSCD. We already did it, and we did it relatively well for 3 months. And we didn't have any outbreaks until November, and that's when just the rates were increasing throughout the state and the city. And obviously those increase in the infection rates were spilling into our schools.
February 24th, the learning centers will reopen.
That's all schools, all grade levels.
For students to learn remotely at a school facility with adult supervision.
So this is the first step in bringing back in-person learning, where all students in DPSCD can come to the school in the morning, regular school time, eat breakfast, log in. They can bring their tablet or their laptop. They'll be in a classroom with other students, so there's some level of social interaction that they might not be having. But in addition, personnel staff will be there to support with any academic challenges that they have or extra support they need.
When the district had to shut its doors to all face-to-face options in November because of the pandemic and the community spread, once again, enrollment and engagement dropped, this time by 12%.
I've had a chance to visit some homes, and we see the continuing theme of the concentrated poverty that we see in the city. For example, a mother who was asked, what can we do to help? Child hasn't logged in for a while, talked about her furnace being broken and having to move around from relative to relative, and that was the priority, and it was difficult to focus in on online learning. So it's clear that for a lot of our students, they're not consistently eating, they're not consistently logging in, and there just isn't enough support at home to support online learning, and then there's childcare issues.
Now, the learning centers are the first step to getting back to face-to-face learning, which is supposed to start in March, provided that the community spread rate stays below 5%. And Dr. Vitti tells me that in terms of parents interested in sending their children back to face-to-face learning, that number has doubled since last fall. And that's supposed to start again in March. Paula Tutman, Local 4.
Okay, Paula, thank you. And Vitti also says summer school options will be extended, not mandatory, but extended to accommodate more students who've suffered significant learning loss over the past year. If community spread levels remain low, actual face-to-face learning will resume in March.